Welcome back. I am so glad you're enjoying the show because I certainly am. I certainly am. Now, Teresa,
Yes.
I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed your book. How did you come up with the fairy tale theme? And your son did such amazing, amazing, vivid illustrations.
Yeah, and you know he's only 16, so.
He is?
Yes. So I came up with the theme because people, human beings, learn through stories. You know, it's civilization. Aesop told his fables in ancient Greece. We had parables that teach us about religious concepts. And, you know, people from the Inuit in cold, cold climates to the Aboriginal tribes in the Australian outback, they taught their concepts and their values through stories. So I decided to use stories to really illustrate financial concepts, to help people learn, because they learn best through stories.
Through stories, and they understand. They can visualize. And then they can conceptualize, and they can digest. Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk, the Red Hen. They're just all very vivid. And then also the genie.
The genie.
I love the genie who addresses the wishes of investment.
The genie.
What are the 3 general wishes?
Well, everybody wants, of course, a high return. They want high liquidity. They want to be able to get their money when they need it, and they want low risk.
Of course.
Of course. And you know, you can pick one, sometimes 2, but you can't have all 3. If somebody ever offers you all 3, run as fast as you can, because it just can't be had. I mean, if you wanted a CD paying, say, 14% with a short-term time horizon, you probably would have to have a genie that would take you back to 1982, because that's the last time that was available.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, and you know all this stuff, and we don't. And we think, like you said, that you could before about getting involved in the stock market. Oh, it's going up, or I should invest in this because my girlfriend Sandy's doing it, so I should do it. But that is not the way to go. Now, I have a daughter, Gina. You have your son, James, and undoubtedly they're our greatest gifts. You talk about putting on an oxygen mask prior to your children when you talk about income and inheritance.
I emphasize what they talk about when we travel on an airplane. When we go through the safety rules, when the flight attendant goes through them, she says something like, in case of a loss of cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will fall in front of you. And of course, what do they say after that?
Then take care of your kids.
They say you have to put your own mask on first. So that's what I really do, is we do income and then inheritance planning. So we want to make sure that you put your own mask on first, and then when you're breathing easy and you have income to last the rest of your life, then we go about developing inheritance plans for your family or your favorite charity.
What's so interesting, that is so very true, because when you think about it, my mom is, my dad's in heaven, my mom is alive now, thank God. But I tell her, and I think most people feel the same way, I tell her, just enjoy yourself. Enjoy that what you have. If there's something left, fine.
Yeah.
But I would rather enjoy it with you. And finally she's getting it, and finally she's doing that, which is really, really terrific.
Yeah.
Now, you describe a 3-legged stool of what people should consider in retirement. Can you tell us about the use of the 3 legs and the 2-leg scenario?
Okay. Well, traditionally, we've used a 3-legged stool to look at what retirement income is. And typically, retirees in the past would have their own savings, and they had Social Security to rely on, and then many people had a company-sponsored pensions. Well, unfortunately, the 3-legged stool is starting to be eroded. For one, with the deficits and all the bailouts, and the future of uncertainty of Social Security is not certain. We don't know exactly what it's going to be like for us when we retire, but it's possible that we're not going to get Social Security the same way that our parents and grandparents did. The second leg of the stool, the company-sponsored pension, is almost obsolete. Outside of government pensions, only about 6% of people have pensions that are going to write them a check for the rest of their lives. And so that really leaves us just one leg to stand on. We have to do it ourselves. We have to make sure that we have the savings to be able to fund our own retirement income to take care of that.
Well, it seems to me that it's happened overnight. It's happened throughout our lifetimes, because I know my folks had a pension and Social Security is solid, and now it's just a whole...
No, it's not. I mean, I don't have a pension. My husband, fortunately, does. But, you know, not too many people do anymore, and you just really have to make sure that you have an income plan that's going to write that paycheck for you.
Yeah, and women are faced with many obstacles, from earning their fair share financially in the workplace, as well as the death of a spouse. And you cleverly call it the widow's double whammy.
Yes.
Boom.
And that's really when the comfortable retirement income that some retired ladies who are married have come to expect evaporates upon the death of the spouse. And I take, for example, Fred and Wilma. And Fred had a really nice job at the quarry, and Wilma stayed home and took care of Pebbles. And they had a nice retirement income. Wilma had a little Social Security, Fred had his, and he also got a pension. And you know, that day when he last slid down the brontosaurus tail and said, yabba dabba doo for the last time, he had that pension and he was able to rely on that. But unfortunately, he passed away. And Wilma was alone, you know, devastated by the loss of her beloved Fred, but she also lost a lot of income because he had a single pay pension that went away. She lost a lot of their Social Security income, and she had to move to a new neighborhood. She had to live with Pebbles. So,
oh no,
it was tough.
Sure it was. Sure it was. A whole different life for her.
It wasn't what they planned for.
The double whammy.
The double whammy.
And what follows the double whammy are taxes. Taxes. We all have to die. We all pay taxes. Why is it so important to have an effective tax plan in place prior to retirement?
Well, there are really 4 tax buckets that we look at with respect to how your money can grow. And one of those tax buckets is taxable, where you pay taxes on the money that you earn in those accounts every year, year in and year out. The second bucket is tax deferred. Those are things like 401k plans and IRAs. Those are the pay me later buckets. The third bucket is what we really like, which is tax-free buckets, where you never pay taxes on the growth. And the final bucket is what we call tax-free squared, where you don't pay either income taxes, or when you pass, there's no estate taxes that are paid. And the more money that you make, the more important it is to move to the tax-deferred, tax-free buckets with your money.
So you take people from, well, throughout their whole life, and you redistribute the money depending on where they fall. And how often do you see people? How often do you have people come in to reassess their plans?
Well, about annually, and more often depending on what they need to do. We put things in place that we really want it to last throughout their lifetime, but we tweak it as their needs change and make sure that they're on the right track and do what
you're a member of their family and their extended family. So tell me, the sleeping giant, the IRS, where does that come into play?
Well, you know, Benjamin Franklin used to say a penny saved is a penny earned. And we use this illustration to show how much taxes can really eat into your retirement savings. If you take the humble penny, and you're lucky enough to have a penny earned for every penny saved, and every day that penny doubles. So on day 1, it's 1 penny, then it's 2, 4, 8, and so on. At the end of 31 days, what do you think that number looks like? It gets to be really, really big. It's over $10 million.
Wow, wow. So people need to come to you happily, let you help them with your plans. And we're out of time. I've got to thank you so much for joining us today. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Teresa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it for this edition of the Patti Gribow Show. Thank you for joining us.